Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday, and you are happily tuned into the I'm Making It Happen radio show on the Reef 103.5 FM with exceptionally yours, Nykole Tyson. And we are here on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And on I'm Making It Happen, we discuss how we can make it happen in our minds, bodies, finances, business, and culture, despite the inevitable and not so pleasant challenges. And that's what ultimately allow us to realize that we have the ability to maneuver and improve every and any situation that we encounter. And as you know, I'm always excited for the conversation. And today, I'm so excited. I wish we had a drum roll. This is our first appearance for the police commissioner, the commissioner of the VI Police Department, Mr. Mario Brooks. And so we're looking forward to have a conversation with him. But before we start, definitely want to say good morning to all those in the USVI, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, and anywhere you are in the Caribbean. Thanks so much for tuning in, as well as all those listening live on reefbroadcasting.com from the East to West Coast. Good morning to you, and good morning to those watching live on Facebook and on Instagram. You can find us at I'm Making It Happen on both Facebook and Instagram. Please do like and share. And so, as I mentioned in the intro, we have Mr. Mario Brooks. He's a VI Police Commissioner, and he's no stranger to pressure, responsibility, or the weight of community expectations. And as the newly appointed Commissioner of the Virgin Islands Police Department, Mario Brooks has stepped into this role with boldness, visibility, and a fierce commitment to protecting our streets, especially when it comes to gun violence. And this is his first time on the I'm Making It Happen show, and I'm so honored to have him here. And we're going to go deeper into more than just headlines and sound bites. We're going to pull back the curtain and, understand his vision, the action, and the person behind the badge. Welcome to the show, Commissioner Brooks.
Good morning, Ms. Tyson. How are you today?
Great.
Good morning to the public, the general public across the globe that are under the sound of my voice this morning. Thank you for the opportunity to come here and have this dialogue with you and your audience.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're extremely busy. And just some things I wanted to note before we get into, the conversation and the questions and things that you want to share. Some of the things that impressed me was when you first took the role on. Well, first of all, I was very happy that, you got the position because I like that. You're local and you're local, you're from here, and then also that you got promoted within, right? Promotion within. And so you know the territory, you know the issues, the nuances, the culture, right? And that's really important. And then also when you took on the role, and I think when you first started, there was some shootings or in St. Thomas, but you came on full force, and you're like, look, we are here, I am here, and if you bad, I am badder, and I was like, whoa, and we need that. We need that authority, that aggressiveness in regards to no fear. This is your role. This is the police. You're here to serve and protect. And I felt it. And I was really appreciative because it felt sincere. And I was like, that was really. I just wanted to acknowledge you for that because I didn't forget that, as well as then coming into the the carnival festival for St. Croix. It was the ads was really good. And it was very playful, but then you was like we outside, the police department, we all are outside, and the police department is outside. And so we are ready for you. So if you want to come, because we're ready. And so all those messaging, I feel, is really important for the community to hear as a whole. And then those that are not abiding by the law to know that you are committed, dedicated, and definitely will take all methods to get the job done. So I just want you to acknowledge you for that and let you know that they're not is not unrecognized.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know you just do it from the heart, and so I just want to make sure you are aware of that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. I received a lot of phone calls relative to that, but when you speak from the heart, when it's something that hits home. And you have to live your truth, and I believe in living in my truth. And this is our community. This is where we're from. This is our home. This is not St. Thomas. This is not St. Croix, St. John. This is the Virgin Islands. What affects one affects all. I take it very, very seriously. And coming up, like you said, in the department and being an officer all the way through to where I'm sitting today, I've seen the nuances. I've seen what we've had to endure as police officers in the community, but also know what the community themselves in as a whole, what we endure, and I always, every homicide, every killing, everyone that's hurt affects us as a part of this community as well. And I try to make sure remind people of that. The police, we're not insensitive to what's going on in the community because we're part of this community. It affects us. We live here, just like you. It's not like we don't live 1,000 miles away and drive here and become police and just police and then drive back home. But we live right here. You go to school. Our kids go to school with your kids. We go to church together. We worship together. We run into each other in the supermarket. So we are vested here. So we just have to take on that role and ensure that again when I retire, I want to be one of those retirees that sit on the corner relaxing and smiling, knowing that that I've left a legacy to the department that they can, I can sit back and smile and say, well, they're doing their part to ensure that we maintain a safe community, and I think that's a goal of every police officer. We all show things differently, but I honestly feel that is a goal of every police officer.
Well, I do appreciate that, and importance is that you're saying you're looking long term as to your role, not just now, but when you do retire and say, I did have an impact, right? And I use my time wisely and
Yes.
being a leader in the community. And so I do appreciate that longevity of that long term thinking of what you want to see. And so it's evident in the tactics that you're taking and the communication you're having with the community or have had with the community. So we have a lot of issues. We have had a lot of I would say it's a lot because it's been crazy with the gun violence, but the violence I guess recently in West.
Yes.
During the day on a Sunday, I think it looked like a automatic kind of gun firearm, something that should be in like Saudi Arabia or some other country, with war zone.
Kind of weapons of war.
Yeah, just say war zone, So I'm going to come to that. So before we even get to that, that's my topic. So we're going to talk about that. But what's your first priority stepping into the role, especially concerning gun violence?
To curtail it and do what we have to do. Listen, guns are not made here in the Virgin Islands. We don't have any gun manufacturers here. We do not have any. We have rum factories, but we don't have gun factories. And I say that to say that these guns are coming into the territory, and we have to be real about and truthful to ourselves about how these guns are coming in. Of course, the narrative out there has been given consistently, it's a certain demographic that's bringing them in, and we know that's that demographic that's bringing them in. And truth be told, we have yet to uncover anything of that nature,
okay.
At least locally. We, at any given time throughout the year since we opened the substations in either both at Sika and at Hera, we've taken off in excess maybe anywhere between 40 to 60 guns almost every year. And these are guns that were brought in by locals. Being brought in, and again, that's a little loophole that we are locking down on. If you come in with a firearm and you don't declare it and you leave any one of the airports, you'll be arrested for it. Because we've established those locations that you're supposed to basically declare those firearms before you come into the territory. This is our home, and we don't want illegal firearms in here. We want firearms that are licensed. We want to ensure that our constituents in the community who are firearm owners, licensed firearm owners, are trained. They know how to handle those firearms appropriately. And that's the only reason why the government, we look at things this way. We don't, we just can't have anyone haphazardly having a firearm and, walking around with it. Hence, it takes me back to that same situation you're referring to that happened down in Fredericksted. That's not a licensed firearm owner. That's someone who just has no care, wants a firearm, a couple of people I should say, and just want to wreak havoc in the community because they have a beef, for lack of a better term, with someone else. And we have to do better. We have to find other ways to resolve our conflicts as opposed to picking up a gun and trying to take someone's life. Because when you take someone's life, you take someone's life. That person is dead. And you've not only impacted that person by taking their life, you've impacted their families, other community members, people that know this individual. That's long-reaching effects throughout the community. And we life is taken, that affects a myriad of people across the demographic, across the territory, because that person knows many people. It's not like we live in a huge community. We really don't. We really don't. We live in a community of live over 100,000 plus people. So, chances are even if you don't know the person personally, you know someone who knows them. So these are the kind of things we have to take into consideration and really sit back as a community and say, hey, we really need to get a grip on this gun violence issue. It's that serious. And the amount of firearms that we take off the street is overwhelming. We just had a gun buyback program just started. We did St. Croix. We pulled in about 27 firearms. And let me add this to show you how the community is now is so vested. And I use that term vested very loosely because I'm seeing the difference in how the community is accepting and receptive to the way we're doing things. The community, the first year we did this, we pulled just shy of 30 firearms territorially.
The first time?
First time, territorially.
Okay.
St. Croix alone matched that.
Wow.
Last Saturday.
Okay.
This past Saturday, and that was the first Saturday. This past Saturday, St. Thomas surpassed that with 30 plus.
So you've doubled
that we did last time. We did it. And now we have St. John coming up this coming Saturday. We anticipate St. John's are going to, we're hoping the St. John's show up and show out and bring those firearms in. But it goes to show you that there are people in the community that want us. They know firearms are whether it's laying around in their house. Whatever the case may be, we're not asking any questions.
Oh.
The most important thing is that we get these firearms. We don't need these firearms to fall in the wrong hands. And that is where we are. We are so appreciative of the fact that the community have gravitated toward that. And we're going to destroy those firearms in public for everyone to see. This is where we're going with this. But I want to thank Senator Johnson, Senator DeGraff, the rest of the VIPD team for the excellent job that they're doing as far as us getting this gun buyback driving forward. And we intend to do it again. We have to do take whatever means we can, to get these firearms off the street. It's a pandemic, for lack of a better term. It's overtaking us, and in order for us to take control, we have to do what we have to do. The community have to come together. I know people here say we requesting the community to assist us, but we can only do so much. We really do need the community's assistance, and we're appreciative of those that are coming forward and helping us to curtail these gun violence. Just so you know, we made arrest. We did, in fact, and it speaks of my initial words, and when you heard me say we're going to be here, and this is a perfect example. The community stepped forward, they assisted us, we got our camera footage and so forth. We were able to secure warrants through the support of the AG's office real fast, and in a record amount of time. I'm very appreciative of Gordon Rea, the Attorney General, and the rest of his team for that. And as a result, we effected the arrest of those individuals that were discharging those firearms on in Frederickstead.
Great.
Yeah, they were arrested. You didn't even know that. So clearly we have to do a better job of making sure that information is put out. But yeah, we securely arrested.
So I just want to make sure we get that right. So the maybe it was out there and I just didn't see it. But so the individuals that was during on a Sunday that was using automatic firing during the day, they were arrested.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep. We picked up 2 of them, with the third one we're working on securing that person. So this goes to show that when we work together, what we can accomplish. But that's a win for us as a community.
That's awesome. Yeah,
because we had these individuals had wanton disregard for the safety of the public on a Sunday. Fish market, people running around, kids running around.
I take drives on a Sunday down there.
Yes. And to see that that you don't even care. You don't care about yourself, and you don't care about the public. You don't care about anything. You just want what you want. And when that happens, when people get in, have that mentality, it's a recipe for disaster. We have to put a stop to that. And as a result of the community coming forward, as a result of our camera footage and good police work, very good police work, I have to commend the Special Operations Bureau, the Investigations Bureau, Deputy Chief Naomi Joseph, Chief Cornelius, and then team for the excellent work they did. And then the Attorney General's office under AG Gordon Rear, the work that they put in to get us those warrants was awesome. And just to show you the way we are going to do things, say what you want. You can say Mary Brooks is this, Mary Brooks is that. It's not Mary Brooks, it's VIPD. And I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure my officers have what they need to get the job done. We knew that this was going to be a big task, so we brought in additional officers from St. Croix, flew them over to assist. And we
St. Croix?
From St. Thomas, sorry. From St. Thomas, we brought them over from St. Thomas in addition to what we have on the ground. And we made those arrests. Perfect. And we will come for you. If you violate the law, we're going to come for you. That is just a message. We want to make sure you understand. No one is above. The safety of our community is first and foremost. That's paramount for all of us. No one is above the law. And you violate, and once we have sufficient and the warrants are secured, we are going to come for you. Like those guys in black are going to come. You're going to kick in your door, and we're going to take you out. The law says that we can do that. And the warrant clearly gives us the authority to do that, and we're going to do that. You cannot be putting our law-abiding citizens in harm's way with these kind of stupid, grievous activities that we'll be performing. We have to stop. We have to stop and understand that everything we do, everything that's being done affects us all. That's a lot. So.
No, we need to hear that. So if you're just tuning in, you are tuned into I'm Making It Happen with Nykole Tyson, and we have Commissioner of the Police Department, Virgin Islands Police Department, Mr. Mario Brooks, giving us, background and details in regards to the gun violence that we have experienced here in the territory. And just got an update that I guess a shootout that happened a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, maybe now. I don't know. Time just seems like it's flying. That they were arrested. And so, there have been comments that you always see on social media, oh, nothing has happened, people get away. No, since I know that the commissioner has been in, I've been hearing about arrests and people being brought back from the States, or seeing that being brought back when they extradited, right? From the States to come back for trial for different crimes. And now recently those that were part of the reckless shootout in West have been arrested, and more to come. So we do appreciate that update, because people want to know that these people are being held accountable, and then those people need to know that are breaking the law, know that, like you said, you're coming for them. The police is coming for them.
Yeah, we maintain constitutional policing always. I want to make sure put that out there, because I know we have those individuals that feel, oh, we're violating them. No, we don't violate. We are not going to violate the law. One thing you have to always take into consideration: check your records. Check your records. Compared to stateside and other areas, other jurisdictions, we don't have that issue here.
No,
we do not have that issue here. Our officers live and reside in the community, so we take caution to ensure that we conduct constitutional policing. We stay within people's rights, even in some instances where our officers are being abused, as we saw in the video the other day. We stay within the confines of the law to ensure that we do the right thing. But when that warrant is signed, when we have probable cause to make that arrest, better believe we're going to make those arrests.
And you're not going to be perfect, right? And not all the officers are perfect, but I do know that there is a complaint form. And I have filled out a complaint form in the past, and it was investigated and responded to. And, the officer, they saw the officer was not in the right way of handling the situation, and and they dealt with it, right? And so I do know that there are investigations internally, and that you can report if you have a bad experience. But overall, yes, we don't have any issues of that kind of bad interaction with law enforcement here, and I feel like sometimes that's because, and that makes people feel like they could take advantage, but be disrespectful to the police in the VI, because we don't really have as force. It's not, to me, I don't see force, when there's policing that's happening. And so, but they said, don't take the kindness as a weakness.
No. Okay. What they used to say, every day the bucket going to well, one day the bottom the fire, right?
Exactly. So, yeah. And so, so I'm glad to hear that. I want to ask about the community in involvement. We already mentioned that the buyback program that happened. You doubled your numbers. You met the same number as territorially was 30, and getting the guns back. Yes. And then St. Croix met that number. St. Thomas met that number. So now you're double what you got territorially now between the districts, and are you going to be doing a BIPAC in St. John this weekend?
Yes.
So with that, I want to ask, so you just people bring the guns and you don't ask any questions?
No questions. No questions. If you have a gun lying around the house, when get rid of it, bring it in. It's appraised to national standards. We have a book that we do the appraisal based on the make, model, age of the firearm, and so forth. We give you walk out of there with cash. No questions asked.
So it could be like the automatic semi-automatic,
whatever you have around the house, somebody has one, you bring your firearm. You take it. Just look at it this way, Nicole. That one firearm is capable of taking multiple lives.
Definitely.
Think about it that way.
Yeah.
So if we have about 60 plus already, think about the amount of lives that possibly saved from that alone.
Definitely. And let me ask you, what are like the ranges of ages? You have young people bringing them in to older?
Across section of the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I like to hear when you hear younger people, and that means the message is getting through.
Yeah.
Not to be, caught up in this.
We encourage them. We're looking forward for St. John. I think St. John is going to really show up and show out. I'm really excited about it.
Okay. And so, you've already mentioned the community is vested. They're, the trust, you're building the trust, especially when, you're solving these cases, you're, taking whatever feedback that you're getting and then moving with the information to solve certain cases. So it seems like the community trust is building or increasing. But there are some comments on social media that I've seen that people feel that the police department should be all-knowing to solve cases. That, because you hear people say, "Oh, I didn't see anything. I didn't hear nothing." When it's like during the day, it's like, "How you didn't see anything? How nobody saw anything?" Right? And so, like, what is your response to that kind of way of thinking? Is the public support necessary?
Let me say I didn't see anything as far as announcements or what exactly, because I know
like, what is your thinking? What is your response to the thinking that people don't need to give what do you tell? When you watch CSI and all those, they always gain tips. They're not when people help with solving the cases, What's it called? Tips. Okay, that was right. So tips. What is it? So, in those cases, people they solve those cases in CSI and all those kind of things because they got tips from their community or from different individuals. It wasn't like they have their clairvoyant and they just, all knowing and come up with this. So you need help from the community. That's what and it's a small community. So things should be even faster to be resolved. What is your thinking to some people, I'm seeing on social media is like, oh, the police department needs to be doing this and that, but people don't always step up to give any information as to what happened.
So I like to be realistic about things. So, we watch CSI and NCIS and all these different shows, and they solve a crime in an hour. The reality of it is it doesn't happen that way. The police department, and I'm frank as I possibly can, is only as good as its community. We're leaning quite heavily, in the direction of technology to help support our investigations and support the way we police and patrol and so forth. But nothing is going to replace community support, period. The best witness on a stand is that person that saw. The best person. And we have to remember that while we may take a hands-off type approach to supporting the law enforcement efforts by, I ain't seen nothing, or you already know who do it, I don't need me to tell I nothing. We can't, we can't take that to court. We really can't take that to court. The law is clear, and every individual, regardless of what their demographic or what the situation is, they're entitled to rights. They have rights. And we cannot violate those rights. We have to maintain constitutional policing. You hear that quite often from me today. We have to maintain constitutional police. We have to ensure that each and every individual, regardless as to what their demographic are, regardless as to what they've done or what their criminal history has been prior to, we have to always remember to ensure that they are afforded the rights under the Constitution. And as such, when it boils down to investigations, we have to ensure that we have enough proof to push a case forward. We don't have multiple opportunities and so forth. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we may know something, but knowing it is not sufficient to take it to court. We have to be able to prove it, and they have to be have substantiable and credible witnesses and evidence to match. So we match the evidence. If you have video footage, which is perfect, it's not always, we don't always have the luxury of that, and substantial evidence from a witness supports that. So we encourage that from the community, and I know that was one of the things that came up yesterday evening at our town hall in Fredericksburg, talking about witness protection. If we have the capability to help protect our witnesses and take care of them and so forth, yes, we do. We've done it. We've been doing it. If we need to fly someone off island or secure them in a secure location until a case, we can do that. Whatever it takes to get the criminal element off the street, we will do just that. We just need to, once it meets the level of substantial credibility when it comes to the evidence that a person will provide, yes, by all means we'll do that. So, but outside of that, the community involvement is what is needed. We provided things like Crime Stoppers. We have VIPD coming online shortly that will allow the individuals in the community to report anonymously what's going on. And we look forward to that. We're really excited about those programs because they've in the past, they've netted great results. People have called in with information and given us substantial information that helped pointed us in the right direction to solve crimes. So we encourage the public. If you don't want to come forward and give us information, utilize the VIPD, utilize the Crime Stoppers, utilize those avenues. We live on islands that they're not very large, so you can't live here for 5 years and no more police officer. And if you're not comfortable with those programs, pretty sure almost everyone knows some police officer that have an encounter with some officer that they're comfortable with. You can reach out to the officer and say, hey, this is what happened, I need to have a conversation with you. And we'll figure out a way to get your information and utilize information appropriately. But to say that we ain't getting involved, I don't want a part of this, yeah, I already know, don't call me, ask me nothing, that's not helping us. And then that's going to be a crime now, but then heaven forbid that someone close to you now, they're impacted. And you want the same type of results from the community, for someone in the community to come forward and assist by giving information, and they don't do it. So we have to change that narrative.
Definitely. So thank you for that. And if you just tuned in, we have the police commissioner, Mario Brooks, in studio with us right now, and we're talking all things policing in the USVI. We've covered gun violence, the gun buy back program, and so much more, and also emphasizing community involvement. And he's mentioned a couple times, constitutional policing. So making sure that even the individuals that are committing these crimes, that you are handling the situation, their rights as well, basically. And that also helps with the case in the end, right?
Correct.
So that's definitely important to note. And if you do have a question or comment or concern, you are free to call in 340-719-7435 or 340-719-7436. You mentioned that you had a town hall yesterday.
Yes.
And Wes, and what are some of the things that you already mentioned about witness protection? What are some of the things that was brought up in regards to concerns and, I guess, community being more involved?
I think we're curious. They wanted to know about what the police are doing. What we're doing as fast patrols. Are we stepping up patrols in the area? What we're doing to curtail gun violence, which we just spoke of. These are consistent issues that come up in the community, and we work towards getting those situations addressed. Again, we're not perfect. I think you mentioned that earlier. But where we see gaps that needs to be addressed, we're going to work on those gaps. Another thing they talked about was cameras. They wanted to know where we were with cameras, how many cameras we had in the area. I mean, I don't give out a definitive number, but we do have substantial.
We're going to get into that.
Yeah, we do have cameras, and we'll continue to, because in a real world, in a real where we had all the money accessible to us, I would love to see a camera on every block across this territory. You should not be able to move anywhere without any coverage. I know people say, oh, well, what happened to my rights? You're in public space. Come on, you're in public space. You can't go someplace.
If you're in the States, there's cameras on every block.
I've been to New York. Every 2 steps I ran into a camera looking at me. And it's not that anyone wants to invade your privacy or anything like that, but it's to ensure that the people are safe. And if something does occur, and we're not going to hide it, by the way, we're going to let the public know you're being watched. We're going to put signs up and let you know you're being watched. Because these, especially the criminal element, they need to know that, you're being watched. And especially our senior citizens should be able to go anywhere comfortable. They've worked 20, 30, 40 years on this in this territory, and now they're trying to enjoy their retirement, and it's utterly nonsense that they have to endure or be afraid to go to church on Sunday morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Church in Weston.
Yeah. So these are the kind of things that truth be told, those are things that keep me up at night, because how do we address that? How do we get a community involvement to help us, to notify us, to report us when these things are happening? And when they do report, we need to be, as a police department, we need to be there to ensure that we're there to address it. Not all situations we may be able to address to the satisfaction of the complainant, but at least we're there to address it and do it within the confines of the law.
Okay. We have a comment here online saying police located in the various community is vital. Cameras in inconspicuous places in each neighborhood would be ideal. So, looks like you have some buy-in there, support. So, as I said, we have Police Commissioner Mario Brooks in studio with us, and talking all things policing in the USVI. We are going to take a break, and we get back. We're going to talk more about the cameras and some new initiatives that are going to be rolled out very soon. Before we take the break, definitely want to remind you of Carlos Furniture in Tutubak Mall, St. Thomas, Petersburg, St. Croix. They have all of your items for your bathroom, bedroom, living room, and kitchen appliances. Definitely also has decorative items and more. Check them out in both locations, and they're open 7 days a week. That's Carlos Furniture, and they'll meet or beat any price. Also, Quality Auto Parts located in Sunny Isles, near Sunny Isles. They're also open 7 days a week, and it's all in the name Quality Auto Parts. And I'm told they have the best prices on the island, so definitely contact Quality Auto Parts, and they can be reached at 340-778-5462. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. You're listening to I'm Making It Happen with Exception Years, Nykole Tyson. And if you were with us before the break, you would know that we have Virgin Islands Police Commissioner Mario Brooks, and we are talking about policing in the USVI. One of the things that I'm very happy to hear is that shootout that happened in West, that those individuals most of them have been arrested, and more to come, and that the buyback program has doubled in numbers in regards to people giving back, releasing the guns, illegal guns, and 60 now for the territory. And before, the first time they did it was only 30. It was about 30, not only because 30 was a lot. So 30 was territorially the first time, and now the second time it's 60. And so that just shows that people to trust, right? Because you said you can take the guns with no questions asked. And so people realize that, and they trust it, and so now they're coming back, providing more. So it just shows me that they're trusting the police department. And so now we're going to talk about, like we mentioned briefly about the cameras, right? So you said we have a lot of cameras, because I know that there's cameras on St. Thomas, so I wanted to know about the cameras on St. Croix. Can you tell us about that?
So we're just completing phase 2 of our camera project. We have a number of cameras throughout the island district of St. Croix. Pretty much, I'll have to give the definitive number, but it's a substantial amount. Then we had some installed for a festival in the Frederick City area. We actually left them up. They're still there. And it was important that we have that coverage, because of course we know the high increase of individuals, revelers coming to the Frederick City area for festival. That number is not going to change, so I made a decision to just keep those cameras up.
Yeah, definitely.
And instead of taking them down afterwards. So they're still there. There are a few in between that we need to make some adjustments. But we're working towards that, and then we're working towards installing an additional set in the Frederick City area pressure on it, ensuring that our officers address those small issues too around the territory. So when you see an officer pull over someone for tint or a broken tail light or missing a plate in the front, they complain, oh, why you don't go look for the modules, hey, stopping me for a little stupid thing like that. But they fail to realize that those small things are what mushroom into big things, right? That's how it works. If you allow us what's considered a small crime to pass, they continue to grow and grow and grow until it turns into something that is, of course, egregious to the point of what we saw the other day with the individual that was really horribly disrespectful to not only to the officer but to the public. By posting that, you expose the public to that level of I don't even know a word to use right now, but it was just really bad.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, you didn't see that one.
No.
Okay, and you missed nothing.
Okay.
But the fact we told we have to do better. We have to do better not only as a police department. We're doing our part as a police, but we know we have to do better. We've identified our gaps. We know the things that we're working on. We're going to conduct some training. We're going to continue conducting training. We're doing service training twice a year. We're going to do what we need to do to bring our personnel to where they need to be. But the community, we need some community. The community to get involved. And I don't know why there are those that still don't understand that we can't do it by ourselves. The gun violence issue is a community problem. It's a pandemic. It's just as bad as COVID. It's a pandemic. We have to knock down the supply and demand. That is why those guns keep coming in, because there's a demand for it. We have gotten away from finding ways to resolve our conflicts. I grew up, like I said, perfect example. If I have an issue with someone, we box it out. We punch it out after school. But then the next day we come back into school and we are still alive. And we're friends, believe it or not. Yeah, 2, 3 years, 4 years down the road, we end up being the best of friends. You remember when we fight back in, man, I remember. That's a community I grew up in now. You get upset, you go down the road again, come back with a gun and you shoot a man. I mean, for what? For what? You just took away a father, brother, sister, whoever. You took away a family member, and we have to do better. We have to do better when it comes to that. Find other ways to resolve our issues.
Well, first of all, we need conflict resolution, because a lot of these are emotional responses, that could be dealt with. And there's a lot of misunderstandings, miscommunication, right? And then what I wanted to mention or respond to when you were saying about people say, oh, well, why are you stopping me for a TLA? Why are you stopping me for this? First of all, you're not abiding by the law. That is an offense, right? And I tell you guys, or I support that, because first of all, that's a generator for the department. There's a lot of money on the table for the police department, I feel, in a lot of these negligent aspects for vehicles, whatever the taillight, whatever there is for cars. I see a lot of things happen on the road. I'm like, how can that person be driving that car? And so, and ticketing people, running red lights and all these things, they add up. And if people feel like, like they say, the West is a Wild Wild West, is because these smaller things are being not responded to, and then people feel emboldened to do bigger things, right? And so I do support that. From the small to the big needs to be addressed, and that is a revenue generator as well for the police department. So you guys are even need to start picking up more, because that's a lot more money that you guys can derive for the department.
Let me add something right to that real quick, right? To mention about the funds coming to the police department. So the police department don't collect those funds. No, let's make sure. I want to make sure that's clear. Oh. So a lot of the funds that are collected, whether it's from tickets, firearms, and so forth, they're collected and they're distributed across the government. Not all of it goes straight to the departments. It goes to the general fund or one of those other entities like firearms. The weapons of the monies for firearms go to the Department of Education to help with our kids. These are the things that we need to understand, that the monies are allotted to go certain places to support the government.
Okay.
So it's not because I wanted to touch that, because I've heard individuals tell the police, oh, you're writing tickets because you have a quota, then more tickets you write, that means that more money you make. That's not true. That's not true. The officer's salary doesn't change. If they write 100 tickets or if they write one, it doesn't change. The monies don't come to VIPD to
clarification, and then also that the money goes to the general fund. So that's money that you guys generating for the government. And so, and if people want to not abide by the law, then they should pay the fine, right? And so that's basically it. Don't want to get a ticket, then don't do anything that you would, be able to get a ticket for. Do you have a couple of questions here online? They were responding to what you're saying. They don't want to call in, but they're saying here, what happens when people disrespect the police and threaten them in public? The video is out now, so the person they stopped. I'm not sure about the last part. If you want to clarify, the person that's listening, clarify that last part you said to me. But they want to know what happens when you disrespect the police. Like in the States, it's a big thing, right? If you do something to police, people are already afraid to do that. So what is it? They want to know, is there any consequences?
Yes, they are. So we know we're talking about that unfortunate situation that came out the other day. So there's a couple of things. So if there's a threat, yes, an arrest can be made. But remember, the threat has to be a threat, and the person that's on the receiving end is perceive it as a threat. I.e., if I'm telling you I'm going to do X, Y, Z, this is the case, then that the perception that the person can do bodily harm, coupled with the ability, as a threat, yes, the officer can make an arrest. The officer can make an arrest. If the person is just loud and obnoxious and they're basically disturbing the peace, if an individual nearby can basically validate that, then we can go ahead and make the arrest for disturbance of the peace. So the law is specific to certain things. The officer did not receive a direct threat. I know we heard the video, but there's nothing in that individual at no point said, I'm going to do X, Y, Z to you. They did not say. If he said it offline, but not on the video. Anything on that video was said, there was nothing where the individual said, I am going to do X, Y, Z to you. The officer, I commend the officers for what they did. What he did, they in general, not said he, but it was multiple officers. I commend them because they exercised a huge amount of restraint for the individual when there were several other areas that they obstructing the officer from performing his or her duties. That's an arrestable offense. That could have been arrested. That person could have been arrested for that. But to say threats, if you watch the video, you listen to his words. Yes, there was a lot of profanities being spewed. That is disturbance of the peace. There are more than enough individuals there that could have validated that. The individual also crossing the road, impeding traffic, stopping traffic to impede. Those are fines that could have been imposed upon the individual. There are other ways to that, but as far as a direct threat, I didn't hear any. I saw the videos. I saw about 3 videos that were brought to me, and I didn't hear a direct threat that this is what I'm going to do. It was very abusive. By no means necessary. I definitely don't condone that. That type of abuse. It was really ridiculous and uncalled for. And for that individual, yes, was out of place. But we do have, again, notice I go right back to constitutional rights. People have a right to speak what they have to say. And I know that people compare to what happens stateside. But again, if you make a threat, the officer has a right to make an arrest. But the officer clearly didn't hear a threat because he, knowing the officer, knowing those officers are on the scene, if they had heard a threat, he would have been arrested.
I see here that people are saying online, very proud of those 2 officers who kept their cool in the situation. Another comment saying that great job of the officers. I see we have a call. We'll take it. The time has gone by so quickly. You on the air? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, hi, good day.
Good day.
Yeah, enough thanks and praise to the Most High for granting us the life, make better so many more.
Amen to that.
Thank you.
My question is, why it seems like some people, because of status, they would more have to wait for either a subpoena to go and arrest them rather than some individuals that just get arrested and sometimes on the spot. That's one question. The other question would be for the politicians. We know that they openly stealing money. to give yourself a raise from 65,000 and giving yourself more and more. And teachers, police officers, and so many others who making under 28,000. Right there, we know they teeth it. Why investigation don't go after them and get those people?
Okay.
Thanks for your
Two questions. The first one was
why does it seem they feel like there's like
preferential treatment when it comes to making arrests and getting warrants and so forth. So I don't know if you have a specific case he's talking about, but as far as the law, so there's certain crimes that if you commit in the presence of an officer, you will be arrested. There's some that if the officer is not present, but a crime was committed, then they advise the individual of a citizen's arrest, and they would process appropriately. And then there's some crimes that require investigation, and then of course opinion from the AG's office, and then we go forward to request a warrant from the judge, and once you get a warrant, then we execute. So it is categorized based on that, if that makes any sense.
Okay. I see that. I think they're talking about, I'm not sure, I never saw the video, but they're saying, this person online is saying they agree with the caller, the disrespectful individual is from a well-known name.
Okay.
So maybe that's what they're referring to.
Yeah. They're talking about the same individual with the shouting and
I guess
all
so. That is
okay.
the video.
Well, that has nothing to do with the outcome. And I can assure you, like I said, the officers are on that scene. If there was a threat made, those officers would have made an arrest. I am confident of that. Well, I know those two specifically. They're very disciplined officers, which you obviously saw, and they take their jobs very seriously. So I am very confident that if there was enough to substantiate an arrest based on actual threats being made, then they would have made the arrest. And I'm pretty sure they were cited. I'll validate with the chiefs, but I'm pretty sure they were cited for all the violations that individual did, in fact, violate.
So time is coming
as
up.
a result of the stop.
So the second question was about individuals. Yeah, they're saying yes, that video. He was all in the officer's space. So the second question was, which I don't think that you can really respond to, which they're saying that people are stealing the government, but officers and teachers need the money. Right. I mean, unless something is...
They were talking about individuals that are in the community. Those type of crimes, we have a white-collar crime unit. Basically, it's called an economic crime unit. Those are the ones that investigate those, and something comes to them relative to whether it's fraud, embezzlement, those type of crimes, they go to them. I can tell you it's a very effective unit. If there's a complaint or something that comes to them relative to the need of an investigation in that area, then they would conduct that investigation. It's a very effective unit. They have a pretty much 100% arrest rate, closure by arrest rate, and a very. That's one of the units that are very high profile. You don't hear much about them, but if you look in the paper, you see substantial amount of individuals being arrested for fraud, and that's the entity that's
writing bad checks, taking checks, seniors' money, taking it, all that kind of stuff. So.
Very effective unit.
Definitely. Home Depot.
Yes.
Many times.
Yes.
I'm like, do they not realize that the Home Depot catch the people from home? They catch them every time. They keep doing the same thing. Okay, so again, this is Police Commissioner. We're about to close out. I see somebody. What are the laws concerning marijuana? Oh, you can look online. They're asking what are the laws concerning marijuana.
That's good answer. We're online.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're on the air. Thanks for calling. You're on the air. Thanks for calling. Okay. Well, there are some aspects that are, I guess, works into the legal aspect, but you can go on.
Marijuana?
Yeah.
That's still in the works. Just stand by for that. There's some more information coming. I know we just had some officers for VIPD, and that it's conducted some training in California relative to that. So we have some more information coming up from the Office of Cannabis regulation shortly. So just stand by for that information.
You're on the air. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. Question for the commissioner. What are the legalities of marijuana in the Virgin Islands? I've heard that you can have 12 plants, but you can't smoke it. I don't know what the laws are. What are the current laws?
Yeah, so we have personal consumption. That is allowed, but not if you have substantial amount. I don't have the size, the amount of marijuana. I don't have that information with me. If you give me offline, I can give you that.
Yeah, ocr.vi.gov.
Yes.
That's the website.
Yeah, they'll be able to tell you, but there's also there's a certain amount that you can have on your person.
Like,
but remember though, sir,
right?
there's one. You were saying something.
Sorry, what I understood is that if it was 2 ounces or less, you can have on your person.
Correct. What I was about to also tell you is that you're not supposed to smoke in public places. That's one of the rules.
Okay.
Yes, you're not supposed to smoke in public places. That's one of the things that if you see, the officers see, particularly during Carnival Festival and celebration, you see a lot of individuals out in the public smoking. You see the officers going to tell them, hey, you have to take it someplace else, or you have to out it, or whatever the case may be. Because that is regulated by law. You're not supposed to smoke in public land. That's a local law. Outside of that, everything else will be forthcoming from the OCR. So just stand by for that information.
That'll be great because we want to make the Virgin Islands a destination location. It's a lot of commerce in it.
Thank you so much for your call. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. All right, and before we close, just want to get out that the e-ticketing with the cameras, when is that? Tell us about that program before we close.
Real quick, yeah. So we're target date of mid-April to go live with the e-citation program. Yeah, e-citation. And go live with our traffic units come mid-April. That's our target. We'll definitely make a formal announcement on that.
Okay, so e-citation. So basically, anyone running a red light.
No. So e-citation is actually the traffic ticket itself is no longer being handwritten.
Oh, okay.
It will actually be you receive like a printed copy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then so they go straight to the court. So what you're talking about for the traffic light program, that's when you run the traffic light and the ticket is mailed to you. Mm-hmm. Right. So we just identified the funding source. We're working with the senators to get that locked into legislation to support the funding for that. So we're hoping at least looking at late August time frame. We're looking at hopefully around that time we could at least start our pilot program here to get that going as soon as possible as we need it.
Yes, people are running the lights all the time, and at times it's like, why would you do that? That's not safe.
Yeah, we already have a vendor and everything. They've been here. They've done both districts. They've done the analysis. We've identified all our locations. We know the systems and everything. We're just working the red tape portion with the procurement now. Once we get that part taken care of, we'll be bringing that online shortly. But before I go, I want to talk again really about the gun buyback. Saturday again, St. John, right next to the police station, by the Senate building. Come out, St. Johnians. Again, no questions asked. Bring whatever firearms you have. Bring them in. You get to leave with cash. The gun buyback program is in full effect. You're welcome to come out and get an opportunity to see myself, chiefs, and so forth. Again, no questions asked, no IDs, no anything. You come in, you bring it in, it'll be analyzed, appraised, and you will walk out of there with cash in your hands.
Okay, great. That's the buyback program this Saturday.
This Saturday in St. John.
St. John.
Yes.
There's a comment. Notice that all feeders are back up for WAPA on St. Croix. Okay, great. All WAPA feeders are back up on St. Croix. Okay, and the e-citation, that's when you write a ticket and it goes straight to the court?
Yes.
And no delay. All right, and then...
It's a lot shorter process.
Yes. And then also coming to the tickets for anybody who runs the red lights and stuff like that. That's you're looking forward to having that go into place in August.
Yeah, hopefully by August we'll have the initial pilot launched.
Okay.
That's our target.
Perfect. Well, so time has went by so quickly in this conversation. Thank you so much for being with us, Commissioner Brooks, and we appreciate you for taking the time in your busy schedule to give us an update, and we look forward to having you return. And again, we thank those who are listening and also tuned in. Huh? Oh, one more? Oh, okay. We have a call. We'll take it. You're on the air. Thanks for calling. Turn on your radio, please.
Hello.
Turn on your radio.
Yes, I have a call to ask the commissioner concerning the one license plate that people are driving with, and also that really dark tinted because you can't even see in the car. Sometimes things happen and you can't even see the person.
Yeah, so that's something that we have to do a better job on. I want to tell you we have an initiative dealing with that.
The dark tint.
Yes, so thank you for that question.
Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you for that question. So that is something that the both chiefs in both districts they're addressing. We're not even on a talk initiative. That's an everyday event. They are out there conducting those traffic stops, and the license plate is supposed to be affixed to the front of the vehicle. The last clear is supposed to be done. So that's something that they're addressing. The excessive tint, that is something that I have a personal pet peeve with, especially on the windshields. I have a major issue with that. But we are, as by law, you're not supposed to have it on anyway. So that's something that we're addressing. We have to do a better job, I know, of ensuring that that's not occurring, but we can't be everywhere. But we are moving forward aggressively to addressing those issues. There's some traffic initiatives that are planned, but outside of those, officers have been guided and directed to ensure that that is something that's being done on a day-to-day basis. So you'll see officers around the island from time to time that are ensuring that the tint is taken, the tint issues addressed. Now, I will say this: I do have some officers that themselves have tint on their windshields. They have already been advised. The chiefs have already been advised to address those specific issues because we cannot be violating the very same law that we're enforcing. We're not doing that. So they've been advised appropriately as well.
Perfect. And I want to mention there's a thing in Christiansted. There's a late police officer woman, right? And she's doing a great job. I just want to say because everybody talks about some person saying it's awesome commissioner. I'll let you respond. So doing a great job in Christiansted. I'm not sure what her name is, Officer Soto, but I just know everybody's like, oh, you better move the car before that officer give you a ticket. She's everywhere. She's always doing this. She's da-da-da. And I said, look, but she's doing her job. And that's what people need to feel, that the person they may feel it is excessive, but that's their job.
Yes.
And they're enforcing what they're supposed to do. And so I say, well, that's her job, and move the car.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I give kudos to her. She's always mentioned in Christiansted, and so that means she's doing a good job.
Yeah, she's those two officers we have what's her name?
Oh yes,
Mary. Yeah, those are amazing officers.
Don't feel bad that if people saying you're doing your job, that is what you're put there for.
Yes.
And if people are feeling that, that it's overbearing, then that means you're doing the right thing. And that they know it's an enforcing. Okay,
Soto's a superstar. But real quick, before I go out, before I leave, VIPD, we're heavy on social media. We have our Facebook page. We have our website. The website is up, fully and running. That's www.vipd.vi.gov. That's www.vipd.vi.gov. We also have a link in there if you want to volunteer to assist. We had some individuals last night that reached out to us at the town hall in Frederickstead that were interested in volunteering to assist by the schools with crossing kids and so forth. Let us know. We will assist you. We'll get some training done. We'll get you the proper PPE so that you can assist. We are all in with the community support. Again, we are part of this community. That's who we are. We're not outsiders. We live here. We're from here. We are part of this community. So we encourage you if you want to support. We encourage you if you want to come out and volunteer. We definitely welcome that. So again, that's www.vipd.va.gov. We also, like I said, on social media, Facebook, IG, and I think we have a TikTok. We also have a TikTok.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We have one more call. Can we take? Okay. All right. We're now going to be able to take that call. And so we do appreciate the commissioner's time and want to respect that. And so thanks so much for being with us today. And we did go over time. And so, this is I'm Making It Happen with Nykole Tyson, Commissioner Mario Brooks. Thank you so much for your time and everything. And we look forward to all that you're going to be doing in your role. Also, want to thank you guys for the calls and for the comments online. We'll be back again on next week, Wednesday, with a very important conversation again. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll connect again on next week, Wednesday, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on I'm Making It Happen. Definitely want to thank you, Commissioner Brooks, for being with us and all your team, your willingness to show up, speak transparently, and lead visibly. It gives us hope. And that, and as always, on I'm Making It Happen, we celebrate those who don't just talk, but they definitely live it. And you're doing that. So thank you so much. And we'll be back again next week, Wednesday. As I always say, we'll connect again. And if you don't see something happening, create it. Be the change. And until next time, keep thinking outside the box, calling outside the lines. And remember, it's about you, me, we. So make it happen.